Okay, first video ever is going to be about dividing. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Okay, so we are going to divide decimals. Super fun. Alright, let's do 4.03 divided by 21.5. Okay, now first we have to put it in the form so that we can solve the problem. So it's always first number in the box. Always. It doesn't matter if it's smaller, which in this case it is. This number always goes in the box. 21.5. Okay, so first step, as most of you know, is to move the decimal to the end of the number so that it's basically a whole number. If you move it once here, you have to move it once in the other number. Basically like multiplying them both by 10. You can't do it to one if you don't do it to the other, otherwise your answer is not correct. It will be wrong. Okay, so now my decimal is going to go right up here. You just bring it straight up from where you put it, and I'm going to say, okay, now I have 215 and 403. I'm going to try to ignore the decimals right now. I already have my decimal there. So first I'm going to say, okay, does 215 go into 4? It doesn't fit into 4, so I'm going to put 0. Does 215 go into 40? It doesn't fit into 40, so I'm going to put 0. Does 215 fit into 403? Yes. And probably only one time. But just to be sure, over here I will multiply 215 times 2, 10, carry the 1, 2 times 1 is 1 plus 1, it's 3, 4 times 4, 430. So obviously, since this number is bigger than this number, you can't fit two of these in there, so it's just going to be 1. Now, we have divided. We have not multiplied. Well, we multiplied here, but we need to multiply now these two numbers. 1 times 215. Everything times 1 is just itself, so I'm not even going to do that over on the side. And after multiplication is subtraction, to see what we have left over from the 403. So here I need to regroup. This becomes a 3, this becomes a 10, now it becomes a 9, and this is a 13. 13 minus 5 is 8, 9 minus 1 is 8, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Now we are not going to just write the answer is 0.1 with a remainder of 188, because that is not what we do when we are using decimals. We don't have a remainder and a decimal in an answer for these problems. So I'm going to divide again. Repeat. Oops, I forgot the B. Always bring down. You will now, there's nothing to bring down, so you have to annex, which means to add a 0, and you all know that annex word, good old Miss Jean, probably some other teachers also. Bring it down, and you put it right next to the 188, and now you're going to ask yourself, okay, how many times does 215 go into 1,880? Well, I know that 20 goes into 100 5 times, so it probably goes into 180 about, let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. So it might be as close to 9. We can try 9, and if 9 is too big, then it'll be 8. And 215 times 9. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 is 13. Carry the 1. 9 times 2 is 18. Oh, it's too big. Okay, so I'm just going to subtract one of the 215s instead of multiplying it by 8, because I think this is going to be a little bit easier and faster. 2, 7, and 1. Okay, so now we multiplied, and we discovered that 215 fits into 1,180 8 times. So we put the 8 up there. Excuse me. Now I'm going to subtract 1,880 minus 1,720. Okay. And doop doop doo doo. Ooh, I don't have to regroup this one. Hurrah. 160. Now, since I and other math teachers I know ask that you round to the nearest hundredth, you have to go 3 numbers after the decimal, and then you can finish your problem. You don't have to go any more numbers than that, but you can't do any less if you want to round accurately to the nearest hundredth. So, I'm just going to add one more 0, annex a 0, bring it on down, and now I have 1,600, 1,600. So I think it's probably going to go in 7 times, because it's not going to be, it's definitely not 8 times, but 1,600 is not that much smaller than 1,720. So let's try to subtract one more 215, making it 7 215s. That looks right. So 1,505. And take from this 5, and from the 6, and turn it into 5. Make that a 10. Turn that into a 9. Make that 10, 5, 9, 95. So that was 7 times. So now you're done with the math division part, but now you have to round your number to the nearest hundredth. So you have 0.187, and that will be approximately, this little guy means approximately or about. So this number, 187. If you're going to round to the nearest hundredth, that's the second number after the decimal. So you have to use this number to decide what this number is going to be. It's either going to be 8 or it's going to be 9. It's never going to go down to 7. So you look at the number, cover it up. Now you have, okay, is 87 closer to 80, or is it closer to 90? And it's closer to 90. So your answer is going to be 0.19. Now you can put the 0 there if that makes more sense for you. It's still going to be the same answer, because the 0 is after a number after the decimal, so it doesn't change the value. So that is example 1 of dividing with decimals by Miss Crystal. Congratulations, you survived.